Hello, and thank you for being there. My name is Daphna Efron. Unfortunately, due to a change in circumstance, I'm not able to attend the conference physically. I'm presenting a study conducted by myself and Dr. Alik Palatnik, who is present there with you. This research examines how whole body movement can support the teaching and learning of core probabilistic concepts in high school mathematics. Probability is notoriously abstract. Teachers often report feeling unequipped to teach probability meaningfully, as students find it counterintuitive and disconnected from everyday experience. Students struggle to grasp concepts like chance, uncertainty, and likelihood, even with visual aids or simulation. There is an urgency to find new approaches to probability teaching. Embodied cognition and embodied learning theories suggest thinking is grounding in the body. This made us wonder, what happens when students are invited to move through probability, literally? Can we teach these concepts through structured full body activity? We asked two questions. First, how does whole body movement support the learning of probabilistic concepts? And second, what are the opportunities and challenges of using embodied tasks in a real classroom setting? These questions guided us both in the classroom design and the analysis. They also speak directly to classroom realities. How can teachers make probability concepts tangible? And what are the risks or rewards of working with students and their bodies in this way? This was a qualitative study in a 10th grade math class. We designed movement tasks combining structured and improvised movement to explore key probability concepts. We collected video, field notes, and student reflections. To make sense of what we saw, we developed a two-axis model. One axis, the vertical, grounded in literature, moves from sensory motor exploration to formal reasoning. The other, horizontal axis, tracks engagement versus distraction, a pattern that emerged from our data. The two-axis model was developed inductively through iterative coding of classroom video. It allowed us to locate student behaviors and verbalizations along a continuum between sensory motor enactment and formal reasoning, and between distraction and engagement. This framework helped reveal how students transitioned across modes of knowing in response to facilitation and task design. We analyzed 5 episodes where students used movement to think about probability. Today, I'll walk you through 3 of these episodes. Each shows a unique trajectory across our model, from physical experimentation to conceptual clarity, from distraction to engagement, and sometimes vice versa. These episodes help us understand how learning unfolds when students think with their whole body. In the first episode, students were asked to define a 3-element sample space using hand gestures. They were fully engaged, but conceptually unclear. Some treated the return to neutral motion as part of one event. And some didn't realize they were doing that, thereby miscounting the total outcomes. As you can see here, back and forth. This was 1, 2, 3, but it's actually different directions. This ambiguity sparked rich discussion. With facilitator guidance, they negotiate clearer event boundaries, defining when a gesture starts and ends. At this point, one student exclaimed, "Can I use my leg too?" A moment that captured the playful yet focused nature of the embodied exploration. These spontaneous expressions became anchors for shared conceptual understanding. In the later task, leg movements were added to the sample space. In episode 4, students built a long communal gesture sequence of all their hand and leg movements together, 12 movements in total. When asked to reduce the set, stop before accumulation of all movements, and recalculate probabilities, something shifted. One quiet student who had mostly observed suddenly gave a precise ratio, 2 out of 8, and immediately translating it to 1 out of 4. This marked a transition from physical participation to verbal reasoning, as embodied improvisation gave way to proportional thinking. In the final episode, students enacted a marble draw scenario through movement. Early attempts were messy and improvised. Gestures didn't map clearly to color or quantity. Then one student proposed, "Let's use relaxed movements for green marbles." This is the relaxed movement, okay? Relaxed movements. And this idea caught on. Red marbles became angry movements. Paf, paf, paf. And white were expressed through subtle facial gestures. Emotional tone became a representational tool. The group co-constructed a shared mapping and transitioned to verbal reasoning. So, from these and the other episodes, several key findings emerged. First, repetition helped students refine their understanding. Each new iteration brought greater clarity. Second, emotional anchoring. Gestures like angry or relaxed gave the events an effective quality, making abstract ideas tangible. Third, spatial variation, changing gesture locations and bodily orientation, help distinguish between discrete outcomes. Creative movement signaled engagement, but formal reasoning required facilitation by someone, by myself, to guide the transition from intuition to abstraction. What can we conclude? We conclude that embodied learning supports more than just participation. It helps integrate emotion and cognition. Movement doesn't just activate students, it can help them abstract. We find that movement fosters abstraction, not just expression. On our model, episode 1 moves from exploratory movement and partial distraction to greater engagement and formal understanding. It shows how embodied confusion can become a catalyst for clarity. In episode 4, the group trajectory moves vertically from playful movement to conceptual focus. It was a turning point in the lesson. Episode 5 traces a steep diagonal path on our model from ambiguity to high engagement and formal articulation. Our dual axis model revealed important, sometimes nonlinear learning shifts between bodily exploration and formal reasoning, between distraction and deep engagement. The key takeaway for educators is that embodied activity, when thoughtfully facilitated, can serve as a powerful medium for students to make sense of uncertainty and probability through lived experience. We'd like to thank the participating students and school staff for openness and creativity. This study draws on foundational work in embodied cognition and embodied learning, mathematics education, and probabilistic reasoning, as noted here. Thank you for listening. We welcome your thoughts and questions.